ayahuasca comes in number one. Someone try to stop me.
You can't go and put your team top 3 every fucking time you win a game.
Number one, your number one power-ranked motherfucking team, and this motherfucking game is Gary the Chemist. We fucking coming. We coming. Cooper motherfucking Cup, baby. He's back.
What the hawk is cooking? Ladies and gentlemen, welcome. Week 6 is upon us. Another week of data. Another week where we're starting to get an idea who the contenders are, the pretenders, and the people just sending me money so I can get it back to you. Okay. With that said, I'm Gary the Chemist, manager of the Ayahuasca Chemist, your commissioner, the greatest around. Okay. With that said, today we got a special little, the Hooks is coming out. It's a nice day out. It's a real nice day. With that said, let's jump to the week recap.
Week recap.
Week recap. What a week. Okay, first and foremost, Gary the Chemist going up against the Great Gatsby. Now, the Great Gatsby, everyone knows the Great Gatsby. All right, so with that said, for me, no real bad performance. I scored 132 points. I took the median this week, which was kind of set up right around 120 in the low 120s. But my best performance of the week, Brian Thomas Jr., one of the steals of the draft. Okay, now on the other side of things, you got our poor performance of Deontay Johnson. But you know what? He's been playing so well. We're not worried. We're just not. So on the other side of things, why did I lose? Man, getting bent over by Jamar Chase on a Sunday. Ugh. You don't want to go through it. Okay. Joe Flacco got plug and play, 26 points. And on top of that, Jamar Chase, 41 points. I need to remind you guys, during the draft, the Great Gatsby jumped up 1 or 2 spots to get ahead of Cop Off My Hawk to take the last of the superior tier of wide receivers. I forgot who Cop Off My Hawk ended up getting, but with that said, Great Gatsby took Jamar Chase. Cop Off My Hawk got left with Aaron Rodgers' second wide receiver, Garrett Wilson. So with that said, I took an L, narrowly escaped the skull fuck. And then next on the list, we're going with the Mighty Wombats taking on the, this thing's not showing up right, Cincinnati Lights, number 1 in our power rankings, Cincinnati Lights, taking on the dub. Okay, you guys know me. You know my absolute hard-on I have for backup running backs who are more talented than their starters. So with that said, Tank Bigsby, a solid 25.9 points. And then Bijan Robinson, should we get scared? 10.7 points. We'll talk about that. The Mighty Wombats, he took the L despite being my lock of the week. He had a great performance out of Brandon Ayuk. Looks like Brandon Ayuk is still alive. 22.7 points in his poorest performance at Curtis Samuel. Okay. Khalil Shakir going down, did not help him. Next, we got bye week going up against the Dirty Bird. So the bye week took the dub, 124 points. That was not enough to get him the median, I believe, right? Might have been here. I can't really see. Either way, he needed Samaje Perine to really put on a good performance to get him the median, if I remember correctly. And I told you, don't get excited about Perine. 3.4 points. Not much to get excited about. Mike Evans with another solid performance of 23 points, also followed by Lamar Jackson's 23 points. 2 guys, you know, we got a couple of really good performances from Mike Evans this season. The Dirty Bird, Devon Achane, concussion, no Tua, it's looked bad. And I feel like he's too reliant on Kamara. Okay, way too reliant on Kamara. We're looking at this going, what's going to end up happening? He's got multiple single-point performances. Couldn't even crack 100 points. The Dirty Bird himself on a free fall, losing 5 straight. Next, we got the Skullfuck of the Week. Ladies and gentlemen, the Skullfuck of the Week.
Ultra Skullfuck.
There you go. F the medium. An Ultra Skullfuck. So on the season, we don't have any regular Skullfucks. We don't have any absolutes, but we've already had 3 Ultra Skullfucks. After meeting got Skullfuck by the kneecap collector, John Anderson. So John Anderson's got a lot of firepower potential. on his roster because of his plethora of his dynamic wide receivers. But that said, DeAndre Swift with 20 points, but really the star of the show heading into this weekend. I mean, he was already going to be in good shape because he had 33 points coming from Drake London. Okay, F the median on the other hand. 104 points, not enough to get him the median. F the median, formerly known as Slide Red. But yeah, took down the L. I don't know why he started Dak over Baker Mayfield, but Baker only scored 5 points. Might have saved him from an ultra skull fuck, but whatever. Debo with another poor performance despite playing the entire game, and really not a lot to get excited about on his team. DJ Moore, a guy I love. I was talking about how he'll come together, he'll come together, he'll come together. He played well, and Aaron Jones goes down with an injury. So there you go. F the median with an. So Rage Quit Season, formerly known as. What was his previous name? Why am I forgetting? Rage Quit Season, and then previously known as that. Either way, it doesn't matter. He took the L this week, going up against Go Pack Go, who couldn't muster up a median win, so he went 1-1 this week. So Go Pack Go, Jordan Love leads the league in dropbacks. He's been throwing the football, but the star of the show for him, if you want to call it a star, he didn't have a single player hit in the 20s, was Javonte Williams. He was a pickup that he ended up having, put up 16 points. That's nice. 13 carries coming out of that Denver backfield. That's a decent amount when you compare it to the rest. His snap share, he ended up taking on about 63% of the snap share, which is roughly where he's been at. He's been anywhere between 50 to 60%. On the other side of things, Rage Quit Season, he started Brock Purdy this week over Mahomes. And with that said, not much of a decision that matters. Patrick Mahomes, what a disappointment. And you know what? You should have known. Patrick Mahomes has been disappointing fantasy quarterbacks for a long time. Okay. So his top performer of the week, Rashid Shaheed. You know what it is, Shaheed. If he gets the big touchdown, boom. But if he doesn't, it's a dud. Okay. So his Rashid Shaheed, 19 points. And then last but not least on the docket here, we got the Tribe Called Questionable going up against Cop Off My Hawk. So the Tribe Called Questionable. It was a performance that really came down to the wire for the median because the game was real close. 126.32 going up against 125.82. Really a very, very slim margins there. Sam Darnold, for Cop Off My Hawk, had a terrible showing. Travis Etienne outshone by Tank Bigsby. Rashad White and Bucky Irvin didn't really play well. That said, 22 targets coming in for Garrett Wilson. You like that? That was wild. Okay, so that said, they just fired their head coach. I don't know what's going to end up happening going forward. But, we'll talk about his team more so when we get to power rankings. But again, that was his top performer. On the other side, Tribe Called Question, Jalen Daniel continues his streak of playing good football. But the real difference maker here for his X factor has got to be George Kittle. Number one in fantasy points per game coming out of the tight end position. The Tribe Called Questionable, 126.32. And the median, he went 2-0 this week, ladies and gentlemen. So go ahead and go on top of our rankings. Let's get to the next set. Things are getting a little long here.
Waiver Wire.
The waiver wire. Not too much money was spent this week, but I've said it before and I'll say it again. I really like what the great Gatsby's been doing on the waiver wire. So both him and Trevor put down bids for Juju Smith-Schuster. Now, the news came out today. Rashee Rice, my freaking boy. It hurts. It really hurts.
Got rice, bitch? Got rice?
It hurts. But with him going down, Juju Smith-Schuster took on 67% of the snaps, got 8 targets. He plays primarily out of the slot, which was Rashee Rice's previous position, for 130 yards, 20 points. Okay, that I think was a great pickup. Jalen Wright with the whole hodgepodge that's going on with that Miami backfield. And then Tyler Conklin secretly having a great season. Who knows what's going on with that offense? Is Allen Lazard his number one? Is Tyler Conklin his number two? Is Garrett Wilson the number one? I know he got all those targets, but Jesus, man. What a headache. Ray McLeod, another solid pickup, dropping Dobbs. Mr. Got to complain because he's not getting enough despite running the most routes in that fucking wide receiver crew. And then Darius Slayton, Jalen Tolbert. A lot of, well Slayton got dropped, but Jalen Tolbert. A nice ending to him. So there you go. Those are the waiver wire of the week. Why don't we just, let's start talking power rankings.
Power rankings.
So, Quick caveat, ladies and gentlemen. As I was recording this, the news came out that Nico Collins is getting headed to the IR with a hamstring injury. Now, y'all know nothing scares me more. Wide receivers with hamstring injuries and running backs coming off Achilles tears. Okay. So, with that said, the power rankings, I'm not going to jump them all around. I will mention the Nico Collins news because it is really big news. The number one wide receiver in fantasy football, number one receiving yards in fantasy football, going out for at least 4 weeks. And, a lot of the reports coming out saying he should be fine. It's relatively mild for hamstring injuries and should come back sooner rather than later. That said, it really changes a lot. Tank Dell and Stephon Diggs are very talented. Okay, Stephon Diggs is going to be catapulted to a whole, maybe even like a wide receiver one position. Okay, so, and Tank Dell is going to be very useful himself too. So let's just go ahead. Let's just get started with number 12.
Number 12.
Rage quit season again. I went ahead and mentioned, but I put this up before the Nico Collins injury. Stephon Diggs catapulting himself into the wide receiver one territory, if you ask me, because he's been getting targets, and without Nico there, I mean, he just came off a good game as well, if I remember correctly. So, but to counteract that for Mr. Gideon, Puka Nacua, apparent setback that happened during his recovery process, he's going to be out at least another month. That means that we're looking at a guy who is going to miss 8, not going to come back to what, week 9, 10? For a guy who got hurt week 1. But number 12 on our rankings, down 2 spots, Mr. Gideon. He has 3, count them, 3 Houston running backs. He's got 2 quarterbacks. He's got 2 kickers. Not a lot of depth here. Jonathan Taylor's coming off of injury. We don't know. He's week to week, so he could end up missing another game or 2. And then, he's relying on some boomer bust potential out of Rashid Shaheed. Okay. He's starting 3 tight ends this week. In this market, ladies and gentlemen, not a good sign. He's down bad, down 2 spots. Mr. Gideon, rage quit season. Next. Number 11. There you go. The mighty Wombats, 2-8 on the season, kind of hovering around the bottom of the rankings since week 2. Previously a top contender. But, ladies and gentlemen, what is going on with Christian McCaffrey? We have absolutely zero clue on what's going on with him. In the meantime, he's been having Chuba Hubbard, very solid performances. But again, I don't like to get too excited about him because Jonathan Brooks. So I don't know about the season-long potential. And Brandon Ayuk had a coming-out party. So did Travis Kelce. That said, Curtis Samuel got started this past week for him. Devontae Adams, what's going to happen with him? Is he going to go to a team that's going to increase his fantasy potential or decrease his fantasy potential? In the meantime, you're hoping he gets traded anyways because he won't play a fucking down until he gets traded. Okay? And he said if he gets traded to the Saints, he's retiring. So who knows if this guy plays another game this season? He's angry and he's a diva. A good diva, in the sense that, he's a quality wide receiver, but a diva nonetheless. Eckler coming back, he's always going to get you maybe 10 points-ish. It's a nice little fill-in, but for the most part, not a lot to get excited about on this roster, top to bottom. And CJ Stroud, taking a little bit of a deep dive there without Nico Collins for these next 4 weeks. Alrighty, let's get to the next one. Already. Number 10 in our power rankings, up 1 spot. Missed the bye week. Now, I sat there and I kind of, told him, man, you can go ahead and take Tracy Walker. Turns out Tracy Walker had a very nice game. And that, Seahawks, for one reason or another, teams coming off playing the Detroit Lions, they tend to play like dog shit. Okay? So, not this week, but the week after, I don't know who the Cowboys are playing. Hope if they are playing somebody or going on a bye week. But that said, take the Cowboys to take an L. So, Mr. Bye Week. Now, he's got Lamar Jackson. Lamar Jackson, absolute stud. CeeDee Lamb, he's the only option there in Dallas, it feels like. And because of that, it seems like some teams are starting to really cater around that. He's had some nice games, 23 points, 19 points in week 5 and 2 respectively. But week 3, week 5 against these good defenses, they find a way to shut them down. Now, the Detroit Lions, they like to play a lot of man. Maybe CD exposes that. Or maybe Aaron Glenn finds a way to do a lot of coverage that ends up coming over. With that said, Singletary should be back this week. Tank Dell takes a nice little boost. But on his bench, Pacheco, man, Samaje Perine, Tracy, I mean, Zamir White, Christian Watson, and then are you going to trust Mark Andrews? And let's say you do. Are you going to trust Pat Freiermuth in one of your flex spots? He's kind of hurting. He's got to switch out his defense. Who cares? But either way, he's number 10 on my thing. Up one spot, only because of how bad I think Gideon's gone. Sorry to my dog. But number 10, missed the bye week. Let's get to the next one. Number 9. F the median. With a skullfuck on the season, a golden skullfuck, an ultra skullfuck. He's dropping our biggest drop of the week, I will say, just to kind of foreshadow some stuff. But our biggest drop of the week, down 4 spots. 4. Count them. And why is that? Look, it's not looking too good for him. Okay. Aaron Jones goes down with injury. That's got to hurt. Aaron Jones was playing relatively well. He was already splitting touches with Ty Chandler. They're going to look at this guy and go, man, this guy's made of glass. We got to be careful. When he comes back, does he still get a lot of these? They might keep him for some high yield touches because of his talent. But, he's just somebody who tends to get hurt. Even right off the back, like, oh, day to day. And then next thing you know, oh, week to week. Who knows with Aaron Jones? Anyone who's had Aaron Jones before in the past knows. Otherwise, Breece Hall. Man, that Jets offense. What a talent Breece Hall is. But Braylon Allen there. They got Gary Wilson. They just fired their coach. A lot of question marks around that Jets offense. And then Jerome Ford, Charbonnet. People say, oh, you love backup. I like backup running backs that are more talented than the starter. That cannot be said for Charbonnet and Ford. I love Josh Downs, but we'll see with Anthony Richardson coming back. But there you go. Down 4 spots. F the median. Let's get to the next one.
Number 8.
All right. Down 1 spot. My hookah brethren. Cop off my hawk. Okay, down 1 spot. Now, he's not necessarily down because I'm too down on his team compared to I was last week. There just had to be a couple of shifts around. But that said, Sam Darnold's on a bye. He's got to plug in Anthony Richardson again. And then Sam Darnold coming off a bad week. Did he turn into a pumpkin, ladies and gentlemen? Who knows? Okay. Sam Darnold, we've all been waiting for him to just lay an egg. Last week, he kind of looked the worst that he has been. So we'll see going forward. But again, like you guys know, ETN, I think that Tank Spiegel is going to continue to, eat into his share. He's still going to get his touches. He's still a passing down back. So he's still going to get you some points. But he's definitely not the guy that you took in the 2nd or 3rd round. That said, the guy you took later on in the 8th round or whatever it was, Brian Robinson, one of the steals of the draft, continues not to be involved in the passing game. Probably will continue that way as Austin Eckler comes back. But that said, he has so much work in an offense that is scoring points. He's scored double-digit points at least every week. And so because of that, yes, he was last week got limited touches because of the injury. But, Brian Robinson looking like a good pick. Now, his wide receivers, the talented foursome, Pittman, stock down when Anthony Richardson comes back. Garrett Wilson, who knows? I feel like 22 targets, that's just too many, and you can't rely on that. He was relatively inefficient with them as well. We'll see how the offense shakes up. I know they wanted to change who their play caller was heading into next week. Anyways, Robert Saleh did that before he ended up getting fired. Wink, wink. But, yeah. Isaiah Likely, a solid performance. Rashad White, y'all know how I feel about him. Ty Chandler might be able to dig into more touches and give you something to actually get excited about. But there you go. Number 8, cop off my hawk, down 1 spot.
Number 7.
All right, there you go. Up 1 spot, coming off of this is not a microphone. So up 1 spot, coming off an ultra skullfuck. The kneecap collector, John Anderson. Okay, so previously known as Olave Garden, What do we like? What do we not like? Look, man, I've said it all season long, and I'm going to continue to say it right now because there's been some shakeups, and I think it's kind of hurt him, and I think it's something to potentially look forward to. What is that? His wide receivers. Drake London. Like, Drake London's a good wide receiver, great contested catcher. I think once the Falcons offense gets going, it's going to be a lot to get excited about with Drake London. With Darnell Mooney on the other side just pulling people deep. It works. The offense, it works. Devontae Smith, a guy I love, hoping he comes back from that concussion okay. Seems like he might. Picking up guys like Tucker Kraft, who's been playing ridiculously well. And then you're starting both Tucker Kraft and Sam Laporta this week. Kind of concerning, but you know what? It is what it is. J-Mo this week as well. What I wanted to talk about is his X factor is Tyreek Hill. Okay. Now, I like the Ray McLeod pickup, but I mean, you get two Falcons wide receiver. But that's it. Tyreek Hill, he's his X factor. How soon does Tua come back? And when he does come back, does Tyreek return to that number one wide receiver, high-end one? If he does, John Anderson's got some skull fuck potential on his team. A lot of guys who can score a lot of points. I do not like DeAndre Swift, but you know what? It is what it is. Let's get to the next one, ladies and gentlemen.
Number 6.
Number 6 on our list, the Great Gatsby, up 3 spots. All right. Now, ladies and gentlemen, 3 spots, despite being 10th on our list. Now, sit there.
Do the math. Do the math.
It doesn't make sense, right? But at the end of the day, he's coming off a big win against me. His team, I have been wrong. I have been very wrong about Derrick Henry. Okay. So, with that said, start the timer. The Great Gatsby. So he's currently 3-7. It's coming off a nice little 2-0 victory. One of the most points in the league. Most points of the week, I believe. I think he scored more than John Anderson. But what has he got to look forward to? Derrick Henry continues to get the ball in the red zone. Again, not a lot of passing game work. He might not need it. I sat there and I said he's going to need a lot of touchdowns and a lot. Well, you know what? He's getting it. Another guy I was very, very wrong about was Brock Bowers. Okay, so Brock Bowers. He's probably, going forward, one of the hottest commodities outside of George Kittle. I still love Trent McBride and some of those guys. But Brock Bowers, without Devontae Adams, continues to produce. Apparently, Amari Cooper wants out of Cleveland. That might actually add him some good. And then Jamar Chase, that trade you had, I remember I was talking about it with Ken, Mr. Go Pack Go, Mr. No Pack No, regarding that trade. And I said, you know what, this could work because there was a significant drop-off from a guy like Jamar Chase to Garrett Wilson, and we're seeing that come to fruition. Okay, so Ramondre Stevenson, a solid week, but with all those fumbles, some stuff to get concerned about. And who knows, maybe Jalen Waddle does do something once we get, Tua back. Juju Smith-Schuster, very solid pick. I love what this man's doing on the waiver wire. But number 6, up 3 spots, missed the Great Gatsby. A solid performance. Could be on the up and up. All right, let's get to the next one.
Number 5.
All right. So, up 1 spot, the Dirty Burt. Now, you're probably sitting there thinking, why do you have the Dirty Burt going up? This man is coming off of 5 straight losses. Okay. And he's sitting there with guys like Devon Achane, where things are starting to get concerning. Cooper Kupp, who actually should be back much sooner than Puka Nacua, which is the reason why I have him right around here. And then guys like Nick Chubb coming back and TJ Hawkinson. The practice window has opened up for both of those guys. Jordan Mason continues to produce, and who knows when CMC is going to come back. Ladd McConkey is another guy who's been producing. Keon Coleman, not so much. And Kyle Pitts has had his best game in the last year, but I would not get excited about Kyle Pitts. Okay? I'd like everybody to know that, please, ladies and gentlemen, if there's anybody out there that's getting excited about Kyle Pitts, just go ahead, check yourself in, because, my man, you need to get checked. Okay? You need a mental status exam, because I would not get excited about Kyle Pitts. Amon-Ra St. Brown's an absolute stud. Who knows what's going on with that Pittsburgh offense? And then Alvin Kamara, you're kind of relying a lot on him right now. But that said, the Dirty Bird at number 5, not too much to get, not too much to get excited about, but not too much to get mad about. When Cooper Kupp comes back, that's when we're gonna see his team start to, as long as Kupp is healthy. And as we know from last year, who fucking knows? Next.
Number 4.
All right, fresh off a win, but down one spot because I had to move somebody up, and my ass wasn't gonna move myself down. Okay, go pack go. Mr. No Pack No. Mr. Fuck the Pack. FTP. Jordan Love with the number 1 drop backs in the season. And Saquon Barkley and Jahmyr Gibbs are, of course, they were both missing form last week, and he still managed to sneak out a W despite not taking the median. But that said, at wide receiver is where we got to start looking at his team. Look, guys like Myers and Flowers, not real big play threats, but he kind of offsets that with DK Metcalf. Like I said before, and I'll say it again, do not get excited. Do not get excited about Xavier Worthy. Even with Rashee Rice going down, it seems like they plugged in Juju Smith-Schuster. If Xavier Worthy did not get that rushing touchdown, he was going to have a terrible game, like 3 catches, 20 yards or something like that. That said, he has Aaron Rodgers on his team on his bench. Look, man, it just makes me hate your team even more. Why do you have a guy like Aaron Rodgers? He's a fucking liar. He just outed the former Fortson Tractor, the former Dearborn alum, Robert Saleh. That said, Robert Saleh probably not a good coach. Good defense coordinator, not a good coach, because he let Aaron Rodgers walk all over that team. Aaron Rodgers said today, I know I keep talking about Aaron Rodgers, but Aaron Rodgers said today on his, or Pat McAfee's show, we need to talk about the Manning situation. Robert Saleh's got a family. I don't have that much power. It's all a load of bullshit. He's an anti-vaxxer. He doesn't give a shit about the humanity of anything. And then on top of that, I don't got that much power. Bro, Randall Cobb, Alan Lazard, and Nathaniel Hackett are on this team. This guy's got power. And his power just superseded Robert Saleh. Jake Ferguson's also another guy to get really excited about, one of the best tight ends of the season, and Colby Parkinson, a very solid backup. Go Pack Go, coming in at number 4. Good job, bro. Bye-bye.
Number 3.
Alrighty, we're looking at the list here. Ladies and gentlemen, number 3, the Tribe Called Questionable, the back-to-back champion, coming in hot. Number 3 on our power rankings, and currently number 1 in the standings at 8-2. Ladies and gentlemen, the Tribe Called Questionable. So, what do we like? What do we not like about his team? First of all, K9, one of the more talented, just pure running backs in the NFL. He's giving me Nick Chubb vibes of just man with the ball, just being able to be better than the guy in front of him. So K9, one of the best running backs in the league. James Cook's been producing. George Kittle, the number 1 tight end when it comes to fantasy points per game. Marvin Harrison, stud rookie. I like Xavier Legette to get some time in, but if I remember correctly, I feel like he got hurt during that game. So I don't know what's going to end up happening, but we'll see. And on the bench, Bucky Irvin, Mostert and Jalen Wright, We got to kind of wait and see where we're going to go with those 2 guys when it comes to who's getting touches in that backfield. Who knows how long this concussion is going to last for Devon Achane. And then JJ, Justin Jefferson, absolute stud. Quentin Johnson's been playing okay. Not a guy excited about, but Jonathan Brooks. I'm excited for Jonathan Brooks. I feel like they will get him the ball. I'm excited to see what he can do. He's got a lot of time to recover. I'm excited. Okay. So with that said, the Tribe Called Questionable. Number 3 in our power rankings. I believe he was pretty high the week before. And now he's, continuing to make some moves. All right, let's get to the next one.
Number 2.
I'm here to tell you right now, we don't care.
Let me tell you,
I just don't care. Okay. I lost, but that's fine. I had a very solid performance. I like what my team is doing. I'm sticking with me at number 2. I'm number 2 currently in your standings regardless. This week I got David Montgomery, the guest, coming back. Ladies and gentlemen, David Montgomery, the
Dog.
All right, I forgot to start my thing here. Okay, that said, top to bottom for my list here, of course, Josh Allen. Man, hit and miss. I don't know what's going on with that offense. He's either putting up like 25, 30 points for me, or he's not playing too well. I mean, what, he had 14, 15 points? Nothing crazy, but I should get A.J. Brown this week. Wan'Dale Robinson, third in the NFL in targets. Third in the NFL in targets. Now, he's third on his own team for receiving yards, but he's third in the NFL in targets. And in the NFL, or I guess in fantasy football, I want targets because I want catches. Okay. So that said, Wan'Dale Robinson, A.J. Brown's coming back. Brian Thomas Jr., one of the rookies to own. Him, Neighbors, and Marvin Harrison. The three guys all producing early on. And then Deontay Johnson. Oh, my God. It hurts, but look, at the end of the day, I'm expecting him to come back too. On my bench, of course, Kyron Williams has been an absolute stud. I'm expecting Jaylen Warren to be a nice plug and fill for me. Khalil Shakir, another guy I can plug in. Antonio Gibson, another guy I can plug in. Braylon Allen, another guy I could potentially plug in. Now, God forbid, I never pray on injuries or anything, but Breece Hall gets hurt. That guy's going to be a stud. But you know what? I like Breece Hall. I want Breece Hall to play well, but I want the Jets to lose because I hate Aaron Rodgers. And Roma Dunze, another rookie wide receiver. But you know what? I got Brian Thomas Jr. I'm feeling pretty good. Look at that golden skull next to my motherfucking name. This is a team that can produce. Okay, number 2 in our power rankings, the Ayahuasca Chemist, managed by Gary the Chemist. Hit him with that next.
Number 1.
They are who we thought they were.
Ladies and gentlemen.
They are who we thought they were.
Hit him with the last
They are
number.
who we thought they were.
Cincinnati lights a resurgence. A great performance and a resurgence up the standings. Sitting at, 7-3. Really on the come up. I've had him listed high the entire season. Now, this was discussed prior to the Nico Collins injury, which obviously has him quivering in his little booties. But that said, he's got the depth to make it work. Darnell Mooney, T. Higgins, Chris Olave, Malik Neighbors, Jawan Jennings, Nico Collins, a lot of wide receivers he can plug and play. Now, the question for him is not Nico Collins, because when Nico Collins comes back, he's going to produce. Okay. The question is, ladies and gentlemen, Bijan Robinson. Tyler Algier is getting touches in that backfield. Okay. Tyler Algier is getting touches in the back, getting a significant amount of touches in the backfield. Should we be concerned? Now, Bijan, his snap percentage has remained pretty high, but it's been decreasing with every week. 89, 75, 82, 65, 63. Okay. Now, 3 straight weeks of 13, 11, and 10 points. First 2 weeks, 16 and 16. Not what you're expecting out of a man taken in the top half of the first round. Okay. That said, he's still got a lot to be excited about. Y'all know how I feel about backup running backs. And this man, he's heard my words and he's like, you know what? I trust him. He's got Tank Bigsby, Tajay Spears, Chase Brown, and I guess Rico is now the starter. But either way, a good team top to bottom for the Cincinnati Lights. So there you go, ladies and gentlemen. There are your power rankings. Coming from Gary the Chemist. Okay, another week is in the books, but another week is right upon us. Bye weeks, this is where champions are made. Do you have the depth to make it work when your starters need to take a break? Okay, what I'll say to that is many of you do not, but I'll tell you about the top 4 or 5 teams, they can. So ladies and gentlemen, bye-bye. It was a pleasure to have you here. You guys can all each go fuck yourself. And have a wonderful day. Enjoy the weather out there. Bye-bye.